I brought that business from a relatively small investment up to a $1.2 million company. I believe I am the solution to bring this county back into the light. Let us live up to the promise of greater opportunity for which America is so well renowned. The future is bright for Cleveland. God bless you, and God bless America.
Mr. Voinovich, you have 15 seconds should you choose.
Just want to say that my opponent brought up Cuyahoga County Forward. I've early on said I'm against yet another nonprofit organization that takes money out of this community that could be used for job creation. We need to organize our county government so we don't need Cuyahoga County Forward. Thank you.
And Mr. Dolan, you have 90 seconds.
Thank you. Victor, clearly you don't understand Cuyahoga Forward. We're taking it outside of government. Let's talk politics. Don't think for 1 minute the entrenched interests of the Democratic Party are going away. They have fought and they work every single day to kill reform. And there's only one candidate who has created a political infrastructure since February, raising money, putting a team to place, and yes, getting the message out. Victor, yes, the same energy I am showing to win the Republican nominee, I am going to show the same energy to be the first county executive and win in November. You're running on a platform that you're a businessman. Therefore, your business record is an issue in this case. And if you think a little mailing is harsh, wait until you see what the Democrats are going to do with your bankruptcies, your tax liens, your personal debt. You're running on a 2020 platform that we learned yesterday you didn't write. It's wonderful that you sought out experts to get their opinion. What is disturbing to me is you hold this 2020 plan up as if it's the holy grail of economic development. If you had been engaged in public service over the last few years, you would have learned that those are just compiles of ideas that have been tossed around for years. We can't afford the inexperience. You need somebody with the right temperament, the toughness. I have raised the money. Money is a part of politics, and I'm going to use that money to take on this entrenched interest that has destroyed this county for the last 15 years.
Thank you, gentlemen. Now I will have some questions for the candidates. You will answer these from your seats. The person who I direct the question to will have 1 minute. The others will have 30 seconds, unless, of course, the question is for all three, in which each would have 1 minute to speak. Let me begin with this, because a couple of you mentioned it. Each of you has espoused what essentially comes down to saying we need smarter government, but we can't just shut it down. So how and with whom do you propose to remake the government as is, or here, what the government here is, while keeping enough of what exists continue ongoing operations to the public? Mr. Voinovich, let me start with you.
How much time?
1 minute, please.
You know what? The transition process is going to be very difficult. And you know what? I've started businesses. I've started over 6 businesses in this county. I know what it's like to get started. We're going to start with a clean white sheet of paper. And you need somebody in there that's actually done that, has had to basically start with nothing, which is what I've usually had to start with, and get something done. So the way we're going to do it is we're going to work very hard to communicate right after the election with the people that have been handling the transition, the 1,000 people who have been volunteering, to make sure that we're in tune with them and we've heard what they've said, and start out running on January 1. Communication, collaboration, reaching out for help, very, very important in this new government.
Mr. Dolan, 1 minute.
Thank you. The charter anticipates some of the savings that we can have. The charter, for instance, combines the auditor, the recorder, and a portion of the clerk of courts into one position. There will be immediate savings and efficiencies there so that we can continue the effective programs, but obviously, as we read in the paper last week, not at the tune of $2.3 million over budget. We also can revamp our procurement system in the county, which will allow us to be more effective in the purchase of bulk goods and to have savings there to make sure that we distribute the goods as needed, but over a period of time we can save a considerable amount of money. The issue of we are living in a county that is relative the same size as Franklin County and Allegheny County in Pittsburgh. Yet if you look at those counties, they have in some cases 2,000 less, and in Franklin County more than 2,000 less employees. So it's going to take an effective use of your employee staff. We are going to be smaller and maintain our effectiveness.
Mr. Casey.
I'm envisioning the first day in county offices and the realization that there's a new boss. Folks are going to have to realize that some changes and hard changes will have to be made. Certainly the charter lays down groundwork and a framework for a streamlined government. And I would agree that we will realize some savings with that streamlined government. I think with the pressures that we're under as a county and a nation, we really need to compress our county government. I think we need to get by, as a lot of homeowners and citizens have been doing, not just here in the county but in the state, by getting by, getting more done with less. That's a conservative value, and that's something that I would promote.
Thank you. Let me stay with you, Mr. Casey. Cuyahoga, a county of 1.2 million people, divergent in income, education, ethnicity, other distinctive factors. How does running a small business, how does being a wrestling coach, even though you have rings, congratulations for that, how does this qualify you to lead such a diverse area, particularly through an office that heretofore did not exist?
I recognize that the job of a government representative is to represent the wishes and the needs of the people. And within the work that I've done here in the county with students, with teachers, I come face to face on a daily basis with the needs of those people. I have an open ear and I can listen to what those people are saying. I hear loud and clear the voice of the small business person in middle America who's saying we need to cut taxes. We need to get this spending under control. So that's what I'm here to do.
Mr. Dolan, 30 seconds on qualifications.
On my qualifications?
Unless you want to
Well,
talk about
the biggest issue that is not addressed is the relationship between the executive and the council. And I have experience in dealing with the legislator and the governor. The last thing people want to see is impasse between our elected officials. And I have the skill set to work through that. Likewise, my experience with the state. Majority of our money, $551 million of our budget comes through the state or federal government. And I am the only one up in this panel has any experience with the state government.
Mr. Voinovich.
You know, I think this county is tired of politicians. I think they're tired of the same old, and what I offer is a business-like approach to county government. I've done business all over this county. There's 59 municipalities. Can you imagine how much knowledge and information that I have in working with all of those various governments, mayors, city council presidents, the Port Authority, the sewer district? I mean, you name it, I've worked with all of them. The only way you can be successful as a real estate broker, as someone who can bring jobs, is to work with everybody. I have a reputation for collaboration. My opponent said that my plan was a copy job. Well, you know what? It's not a copy job. It's collaboration. That's what it's about. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's stay there then, Mr. Voinovich. You've taken some heat for the similarity of your economic proposal to that of the Brevard County, Florida plan. In some cases, it is word-for-word exactness, though there are very different portions of the country here and there. Care to explain how what works for Brevard works for Cuyahoga?
Well, you know what that's all about in Brevard County. Our plan is not only ideas, it's also process. And that plan creates a process for smarter, better government, grow the region, and grow the economy. Okay? And so what we are doing with that plan is setting a vision, be the top 10, okay, and to create the process by which it happens. You know, that's what that's about. And Brevard County has done something and has created something that we can benefit from. You know, we don't have all the best ideas here in Cuyahoga County. I mean, look at our county government. We're about to embark on a medical mart that's absurd. There's no business plan. What I'm about and what our candidacy is about is taking a business-like approach, and that's what that plan does.
30 seconds, Mr. Dolan.